let's get a good look at you.
Hold it. Run that back.
Wait a minute. Go right. There, freeze that.
Full screen.
Okay, freeze that.
Tighten up on that wing. Vector in on that guy by the back wheel.
Zoom in right here on this spot.
With the right equipment, the image could be enlarged and sharpened.
What's that?
It's an enhancement program.
Can you clear that up any?
I don't know. Let's enhance it.
Enhance section A6.
I enhanced the detail and...
I think there's enough to enhance. Release it to my screen.
Enhance the reflection in her eye.
Let's run this through video enhancement.
Edgar, can you enhance this?
Hang on. I've been working on this reflection.
Someone's reflection.
Reflection.
There's a reflection of the man's face.
A reflection.
There's a reflection.
Zoom in on the mirror.
You can see a reflection.
Can you enhance the image from here?
Can you enhance him right here?
Can you enhance it?
Can you enhance it?
Can we enhance this?
Can you enhance it?
Hold on a second, I'll enhance.
Zoom in on the door.
Times 10.
Zoom.
Move in. More.
Wait, stop.
Stop.
Pause it.
Rotate us 75 degrees around the vertical, please.
Stop. And go back to the part about the door again.
Got an image enhancer that can bitmap?
Maybe we can use the predictive send method to see into the windows. This software is state of the art.
The eigenvalue is off. With the right combination of algorithms.
He's taken illumination algorithms to the next level, and I can use them to enhance this photograph.
Lock on and enlarge the z-axis.
Enhance.
Enhance?
Enhance. Freeze and enhance.
Alright everyone, hello! And this is Shepard here with an actual Lucent Nargacuga gameplay segment that you can actually watch. First up, credits to BN Motive for actually going to the San Diego Comic-Con and actually getting footage of Lucent Narga. We know he's real. And credits out to Duncan Robson, who put together that cool compilation of enhanced meme clips. I liked both of them very much. So, those of you who may not be aware, Lucent Nargacuga has been exclusive to Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, Monster Hunter 3G in Japan. It was a 3DS and Wii U game. Pretty old at this point. It has to be at least 10 years old. I don't know. I didn't look it up, but it has been quite some time since you've been able to fight him. He only showed up at the very, very end of G rank. You had to get to a pretty high hunter rank back then in order to actually be able to fight him. Unless, of course, you fought his super version when in the event. This is just the normal one. I didn't find any reason to go ahead and take an extra 5 minutes against the super one, although I did once in a challenge. I was doing a all-monster challenge this past year. And he's interesting. He's like Nargacuga, obviously. He's entirely based on him. I believe he's considered a rare species of Nargacuga. When he is not enraged, his head is very hard. You'll bounce on it even in white. I don't know exactly what it changes to when he is enraged, but you don't bounce on it in white anymore. You can throw sonic bombs at him anytime in order to enrage him. I do that a lot, A, to soften up his hit zones, but then also his AI is just a little bit easier to predict when he's enraged. He does a lot more tail slams, which with evasion +2 are pretty easy to evade and then punish. If he's getting ready for a pounce and you get him with a sonic bomb, he'll actually topple over. I believe I get that a couple times in this run, although I don't always necessarily go out of my way to get that trip because it's not really necessary. In terms of weaknesses, a little bit different from Narga and Green Narga and the other ones. He's weakest to ice. Unfortunately, you know, there's really not a very good pair of ice dual blades in 3 Ultimate. My understanding, and I could be wrong, I've never tested it. It'd be very difficult to test without using either the paintball method or maybe like some sort of an overlay code. Sword and Shield and Dual Blades allegedly get a 70% elemental modifier in 3 Ultimate. I don't know if that goes for status as well, but the thing is his blast is so powerful in 3 Ultimate, it's hard not to want to use it anyways. You know, these bracky weapons just have really good raw, decent sharpness, and then slime is like, if you get 10 slimes, it's like 3,000 damage. Monsters have a generally smaller health pool in these older games. Other things to know is, in general, at least in the older games, it was pretty rewarding to go back and attack the back legs. It'll cause a trip. He doesn't have very great hit zones anyways, so if you're hitting his back legs and his tail, it works out pretty okay. If you're farming for his Cloudy Moon Shard, his rare, you generally want to try and break and then hopefully cut the tail as well. Obviously, if the head is, if he's enraged, you can hit it and you can get a head break there and get another chance for it that way. Some people, I think, would even just go out of their way. They'd run Part Breaker and they would just do tail runs. I don't think that's going to be necessary in Rise. I think it'll be worthwhile actually killing the monster. Things just don't have nearly as much life, at least relative to the amount of damage that we're able to do. Technically, they have more life than ever. He does go invisible from time to time. The beginning is probably when that's the most annoying. You could, in theory, just throw a Sonic Bomb him as soon as he shows up and then enrage him and then he'll be visible. But in the very beginning, it's a little bit like, hey, where are you? And of course, in terms of third-gen dual blades, if you started with Monster Hunter World, you may not know, Mega Dash Juice used to give you infinite stamina. It would no longer drain at all. Not that, necessarily speaking, it's always a good idea to stay in demon mode anyways. You'll see I've already gotten punished a couple times already for doing really greedy demon dances. Of course, other thing that pops up, Lucent Narga will periodically, I don't even know what you want to call that, prepare, charge up, activate his tail, and then when he does that, every time he does a attack that causes his tail to sweep, he shoots out a wave of poison spines. We've seen that, of course, in the Comic-Con video they did show. He still does that. That is still an active ability of his. It's not very strong poison, at least it wasn't. So it remains to be seen whether or not you'll even really care about it. If it's just normal poison, in Monster Hunter Rise, for the most part, you can just kind of ignore that. It's only really if it's strong poison that it's really something to be concerned about. I would assume it's going to be strong poison, because, otherwise, who cares? It's, not a problem. It's, not a big deal. Also, I was looking at his weapons. His probably the most standout weapon in the game, I think, might have even been his Switch Axe. It was, 250 raw. It had a level 1 slot. It's, 30% affinity? It was pretty good for a power file Switch Axe. I don't know that it would necessarily be great with the Rise mechanics, because, files don't crit, may not be as big of a deal as it used to be, but it might be an interesting option, especially if they make it something that has a lot of poison on it anyways, as an interesting poison option. I'm assuming he's going to continue to do double slams in Sunbreak. I wouldn't be surprised if they even gave him a triple slam or a double slam into a spin or something. Obviously, the mechanics from the games back then, when this game existed, wasn't quite as demanding. At least you didn't have as many tools to respond. I don't know about the Shakalakas right now. I just had them set up in this funny little build. In these older games, you were able to give your companions these masks, and these masks gave them unique abilities. And so I've got Cha-Cha, the original main companion, a cannon mask, which allows him to shoot his buddy Kayamba out of him. And Kayamba's got a lamp mask, which is, I think, one of the highest, if not the highest, attack rating. So periodically, I'm just shooting Kayamba out of the cannon. I am playing on the gamepad. I do not like the gamepad. I am not a fan of this at all. However, it does make shooting things a little bit easier because I have the signal right on the touchpad. Everything else about it is awful. There's nothing about it that I like, other than the fact that it's a large controller that for some reason isn't super heavy, but it is very unwieldy. Someday it will die, and with it the Wii U will basically be dead as well, but I guess that's just how life goes. So for the most part, you want to be dodging into the tail. And I could see in Rise this might be interesting, because if you use a wire bug counter on the tail, you might then immediately get hit by either a follow-up or some sort of like a poison spine coming out. Just thinking about how these mechanics could translate over. It'll be very interesting to see how they balance that aspect of it. You know, irrespective even of like, I know everybody just wants to know like what's his gear going to be and all that. But you can see again, I got hit again because I should have, you know, almost always want to give yourself space and dodge into it. If you dodge away, your iframes are going to go away. Technically, best hit zone when he's not enraged is his, like, stomach, chest area, and his tail. I think tail is actually, like, the best raw weak zone. But either are okay. As long as you're not hitting the arms, unless you're deliberately, like, going for a wing arm break or something like that, you're pretty much fine. Obviously, what existed in this game is not necessarily what may end up existing in Sunbreak, but I assume they're gonna have some commonalities between them. He's not like necessarily like Elder tier. He can be captured, and you can, at least in the tower here, drop shock traps. I've only captured a few. He gives 4 carves, which is usually 1 more than what you would normally get. Pretty sure he gives 4 carves. And usually you're busy the whole time trying to cut the tail off and break the face if you can anyways. My assumption is that because there's so many better ice dual blades, and just ice weapons in general, that in Sunbreak you're going to see most people actually run ice on him, because again, the raw hit zones are generally not very good, at least compared to the elemental hit zones. I could see Blast maybe being okay. When monsters got exhausted in 3 Ultimate, and it's even more so like in Try, like it was kind of a big deal. It was a status that they actually thought people would go for. So if you had like a hunting horn or a hammer, I guess technically I think bowguns had exhaust shots, you might even go out of your way to do it. Nowadays, everything enrages and cancels their exhaustion states anyways. So it's not nearly as powerful as it used to be, but it used to be significant. Especially for monsters, think like Brachydios, who was very difficult to get a trip on when he was enraged, he'd just flinch. Being able to force him into like an exhausted state back then was pretty nice, because it would be much easier to actually get a trip on him and get some free damage off. Love Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. I'm glad it got this HD version, even if it's technically not a very good HD version. The performance isn't really great, and I do sometimes feel like it drops my inputs. You'll find that for the most part, if you're looking for like speed runs and stuff like that of Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate or 3G, a lot of the footage is taken off of the 3DS version. I don't know if this was just like some backburner project they decided to do, if Nintendo decided to throw them a little extra money to make. They just had another team working really hard on Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. I really can't say, but I would have loved to see like a patch that fixed a lot of the performance issues. Okay. And so that's Lucent. I didn't cut the tail or break the head or break the wings or anything. But again, those are all things that get breaks. Wouldn't be surprised if even the final version himself gets breaks as well. Lucky Charm Table 10. Still got a video on this YouTube channel telling you how to get that charm with a new save. All right, that's it for now. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you haven't yet, check out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/SDShepherd. Stream there basically every day, unless it's like super hot and I'm sweaty. It's been real bad. Thanks again to BN Motive. I'll put a link to his channel in the description below. Again, Duncan Robson for his little YouTube compilation there. Appreciate that of those guys. If you like the video, again, hit a like on it. Subscribe to the channel, please. Those are metrics that do help out a whole ton. And a lot of work in the videos, and it would be nice to see it. It makes my heart smile every time the channel grows a little bit more. Have questions about Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate? Let me know. I've got the Console hooked up, ready to go. If that's something that you are at all interested in. Otherwise, until next time, this is Shepard saying good luck. Have a good hunt.